What's up, guys? It's your boy Zephyr. Today, oh my god. Hello everyone. After a very long day of work, I just thought I would make another video, and today specifically, just with some fortunate stuff happening in my life, I was able to splurge a bit, and I decided to actually buy the Epic Guild Chest to get 10,000 gems, as well as get a couple more benefits for the rest of my guild. Also to hopefully just get Rayark to finally support this game a bit and actually pay attention and see if people want to invest in it. But yeah, I definitely recommend, if you're gonna spend money on anything, you might as well toss in a little bit for your guild too, especially if you got a cool one like ours. Alright, but anyway, after buying a couple emojis, I do have 9,000 gems left, which is exactly enough to get six of the 5-pack shiny stars. And I have this many. I might as well record it. And while going through it, I thought I might as well also go over the cards and just also kind of just give my thoughts on like what to level up first, and like what kind of cards you'd like to see and what kind of cards you want to invest in first. And yeah, I'll just go into in depth about that as well. All right, so with that all said, let's start summoning. Please give me some good stuff, please. All right, so no legendary in this one. I remember when I first started playing this game and I bought the Welcome Furry pack that gave you way too many gems for what it's worth. I remember pulling like 3 legendaries with the 5,000 gems that I got, and that was a really good day. Alright, so let's start. Brute Axe, Wheeze, Dynafrog, Call of the Wild, Salamander. Yeah, altogether these are all really good cards. I mean, I personally believe that even though there are people coming out with certain tier lists for certain cards, I genuinely believe that every card has a certain function that with the right kind of deck that it can perform extremely well with. At the same time, I do believe some cards can use a rework, or some cards that, as good as they are or as cool as you can make them look, that do need a little bit of an improvement. But for example, like Salamander, Wheeze is just a very generically good balanced card that I personally almost prefer more than Wyrmlings. And Dynafrog is one of the most important units of beasts, and Brute Axes, although they don't go in every single Empire deck, are just a very good staple card to have. And Call of the Wild is just is also a pretty good card. I'm not really sure about my opinion on it. I don't know how much the attack raise, the attack buff goes by percentage by level, so I'll check on that a little bit later. Dissolve, Siege Ram, Miracle, Turtleon, and Spineshell. I personally don't play Turtleon, but the rest of these cards, you do want to probably put some investment into. Dissolve, I do believe Exhaust is better than Dissolve, but altogether, it still is really good because it combos really well with Scorpioneer. Alright, Strafing you definitely always want. Soul Divider, that's a bit of an iffy card. It kind of functions as a better Terminite, but because it is a 1 cost, it really is. And if you play, about 3 or 4 of them, it does shred your Guardian's HP quite a lot. Back when I first started playing, I used to use Soul Dividers to guard against Painlings or other detonating units, and I just realized that's pretty much like losing anyway, because not only am I taking damage, I'm also just I'm taking damage for what I would have taken damage for. Macers I personally don't think is the greatest card right now, but I do believe if you level them up high enough, they can be very good. And Fugitives, it is a really good unit, especially to just trigger a bunch of sense units. However, yeah, I don't really know how good it is as you level it up. Brute Axe, Faceless Hand. Faceless Hand is very interesting. I'd rather much use an altar. I guess it just is a pretty good body to just play because it is a 2 cost. Cryonia, Adrenaline, and Phoenixite. Phoenixite is probably the best epic in Beasts, just because it's capable of just dishing out so much damage, as well as having a pretty impressive HP stat to boost. Its attack speed and its movement speed are both fast, which means if you just flank them, it'll reach the guardian extremely quickly and just do so much damage. Cryonia, I believe that Cryonia is also really good, especially when you want to protect your Greenland archers, as well as just stalling your opponent. Alright, Ballister, I do believe that's one of the cards you should be prioritizing in Empire. It does do, especially with Ballisters, they do a lot of damage, surprisingly. Also, just spamming a bunch of them just is also very just a all around. They're pretty balanced and just do a solid amount of damage. Wormlings too. I just realized Wormlings have a very fast movement speed, which actually makes them very convenient in order to just rush the enemy. So yeah, Wormlings are definitely good. Twisted Vines are good. I also don't recommend running more than like 2 of them in your deck, because they're specifically meant to, at least in my opinion, defend against the enemy. Shotgunner and AP Strafing. Imperial Guard. I believe Imperial Guard is actually a slept on card in both Empire and Beasts. Having a taunt unit is just extremely powerful, and I think I've shown that a couple times by using Riot Trooper. Also, Imperial Guard, especially for decks like against beasts that just spawn a bunch of enemies, and as they're crowding around your enemy guardian, Imperial Guards can definitely help slow them down. Ballista is a very good normal card. It is a little expensive for the cost, but otherwise it does do a healthy amount of damage. Alright, and then unfortunately Abominations and Bloodblooms, for Bloodblooms we have Bell now, so I do believe that Bell kind of makes Bloodbloom kind of useless to play now, unless you have a certain strategy revolving around it. And same for Abomination. I just can't seem to find myself enjoying the self-hurting deck style, just because Republic exists that can deal so much direct damage. Painly Fission, I do believe Painly Fission is one of the most least prioritizing card, like one of the cards you should prioritize the least, just because it does what it does, kind of like Tadakatsu. You don't need to level Tadakatsu up just because everything transforms and you just remove everything from the field anyway. Igloom, you should be leveling this card up as much as you can. If you get them to, I believe, like level 6, they're able to like withstand one shot of the Guardian, so definitely keep that in mind. Ballisters, that's good. And Summon is probably also one of the best cards that Beast can ever have. Forget about having high level Dynafrogs, Poison Geckos, as well as the Snowy Owl. As long as you have a high level Summon, I believe that's a lot more important than leveling up the other one. Although leveling up the other ones are important as well. Summon is a very high priority card in Beast, I believe. Shotgunner, Nightblade Sisters. Nightblade Sisters is surprisingly very, very good. It's low cost, and her passive, which allows her to receive less damage, it means like units like Marine Corps and Ballisters literally can, as long as it's high level enough, literally cannot kill the Nightblade Sisters, because all that damage is just neutralized by their passive. Another Ballista, nice. Dissolve. Doomwalker. Doomwalker is very good, but I do believe that it's just unfortunate that when it does make a duplicate Doomcaster, it's just unfortunate that they're both in the same spot, which makes them targetable by a lot of AoE units. But they do solid damage. Catapod's always a good card to have. Ballister, Hammer Scout's another card to just keep in mind. Just being able to level up, especially in Empire, where it's all about the rush and triggering your sense units. You just want your units to be bulky or just do as much damage as possible. Venomite is such a good card in Alien, especially with its defense shredding ability. It is just so good to have high level Venomites. Astral Warp is a card that I really don't have a big opinion on. I do believe that it has its uses, and I do believe it can be very clutch. However, I think that because it's only 7-second removal, there's very little opportunities to ever make the best use out of it. Turtleon, Bless. Bless is an interesting card. I'd rather much prefer Miracle. That just benefits your whole field, which I think it fits the Beast playstyle better. Surprise Cannon is actually a card that I changed my opinion on. It's actually very useful, especially for either because its deploy rate is, I believe, is faster than the others. Also, it's the unit that it summons actually does quite a lot of damage for what it's worth. Alright, and let's open this. Nuclear Strike. You always want to level up your Nuclear Strikes. And Doom Tower is probably one of the, at least, probably not one of the best epics you can get. Doom Tower, I mean, I'd rather much prefer to summon a Faceless Saint, which does effectively the same exact thing as Doom Tower, except Doom Tower just stays there, and it really doesn't do that much for you. Alright, that was it. Oh, feels good. Alright, hopefully we can get all my factions to level 9 or, mid-level 9 today. Probably not, though. Oh, got a legendary in this pack. Brutex plus Nightblade Sisters. I definitely want more Nightblade Sisters, especially because of the deck that I'm Oh, I'm happy about that one, too. So the current Empire deck that I'm playing definitely abuses the fact that of Nightblade Protector and Nightblade Sister, and maybe in a later video when I showcase Empire, I can show you that build that I got the idea from Avatar Azula, one of the best players in this game. Exhaust is such a good card. If you combo with Leecher Den and you exhaust the Guardian while the Leechers are approaching, those Leechers will literally not die. Landmine's a slept on card. I believe that it's a very good card for defense, and yeah, especially for 2 cost, you really get your money's worth out of that card. Terminite, yes, I believe Terminites are also a card that you should prioritize leveling up. And Cryonia, oops, I missed a card. Commander, I don't believe Commander is a huge card to prioritize, at least for epics, because you really just call it in order to reset your first attack units like Stealth Blade and Snipers and Stealth Storms. Yes, I want more Rocketeers. Best card. Soul Divider, Leecher. I do want more Leechers as well. Holy Guardian, I really don't have a good opinion about, just because it's a single unit, and although it can raise its HP, although you can help it regain its HP, I do think it's a little bit it's not as impactful as it can be as a cost 5. Doromorph. Doromorph is also kind of a card that I don't think is, you need to prioritize too much, just because even at the base cost, it does exactly what it's supposed to do, and it does it very well. War Pigs, that's great. Yeah, definitely level up your detonation units, because you want them to also survive. Let's say like your opponent tries to do it, use a card early game, and they try to call Painlings or War Pigs. You want yours to be higher level, just so it can survive the detonation, and then they can counterattack. Penetree is pretty much like an immobile Leon, and pretty much it just attacks in a line wherever it just keeps attacking in a line, which I think is kind of neat, but I don't think it's too necessary, because it's your opponent can play around it, and its duration also isn't too long. Terminite Queen, good card. I guess it just does more damage, I guess. And another commander. Brute Axe, Engineer, Igloom, good card. Medibot, good card. Snowy Owl, not much to say about that. Mumford, yes, Mumford is a very slept on common unit. It effectively kind of does the same thing as Faceless Saint. However, a lot of people, and I think I'm also making the change towards Mumford as well, because Mumford has a higher attack speed, as well as Mumford has higher attack speed, and is also, although it's less bulky, because of the faster attack speed, it really does make a difference in the long run. Yeah, so I do consider everyone who does run Faceless Saint also try Mumford. Twisted Vine, Siege Ram, and Energy Beacon. Energy Beacon is also a very good card to keep in mind. I personally am not the playstyle of playing Energy Beast. However, I do think it's Energy Beacon. The more you level it up, the more it increases attack speed for your units. Carpet Bombing, yes, always keep in mind. You always want your carpet, any of your damaging spells to be higher level, just to be able to remove stuff faster. Biofield, not too much to say about that. I much prefer Medibots. And Poison Gecko, okay, that's nice. Sentinel, just a good tanky unit. Missile turret. Missile turret's actually pretty good, especially at a high level in challenge. It is very disgusting to play against. It can nearly wipe out cards like Furry or like certain legendaries like Ana at level 10. Alright, Wormlings, Wheeze, Engineer, Hellbilly. I believe Hellbilly, after their HP nerf, it's just super hard. Like, they do a lot of solid damage, especially because you can stack their sense extremely well with Beast especially. But I believe with the amount of HP that they have, the way to remove them is just way too easy now. And I just think as much damage as they can afford to put out, it's just, you know, not that great at the moment. And another Nuclear Strike. There's the legendary Sentinel, Painlings. Yes, I always want to level up. All my detonation units are a little too underleveled at the moment, so I need to hurry up and level them up. Greenland Archer, Greenland Archer is probably one of the best card Empire has to offer. The fact that Sense does not have a limit to how many times it can stack means that Greenwood Archer can attack so many times per second. So if you think about it, it has a 25% attack speed buff every time you call another unit, which means if you call 4, that's 100%. That means at base she attacks at 1.5 per second, but then attacking ones like less than every second means she will tear down the enemy extremely fast. Plus, let's say you have just a plain Greenwood Archer and she's still alive. She's stacked pretty high. You apply the Guardian skill onto her, and she will shred even faster than she already is. A lot of games in Empire, especially against me too, are straight what they just I just straight lose because I forget how fast and how much damage Greenwood Archer can do, and same applies to my opponents a lot of the time. Ooh, okay, so Trample's one of the most least impactful legendaries. Although he is just a pretty bulky good unit, I do believe that he does have some. I believe he needs a rework just because his skill isn't the most. It isn't the most impactful in the game. All right, and Holy Guardian and Terminite Queen. Not exactly what I wanted, but we still have 4 more packs to go through. Woo! Feels good. Excuse me. Alright, a legendary. Nightblade Doomcasters, very good card, especially against any kind of unit that's any kind of big unit that's attacking your Guardian. The fact that it applies a 10% defense shred to whatever it's attacking makes it a lot faster to kill, and it resets every 1 second. So if you have 2 attacking 1 at the same time, that's always keeping at least a 20% debuff, 20% defense debuff on whatever it's attacking. Stealth Blaster is such an interesting card because its first AoE tech, the range is so small. Plus, for what it's worth, its HP is considerably high. However, at the same time, it is for a 6 cost, it just does not seem to do as good as like cards like Riot Trooper and Pulse Tank as a tank. Alright, Marine Corps, always a good card. You want to keep your Marine Corps high level, especially in Republic, or only in Republic, but it is a very good card. Call of the Wild. Armor Pod, I have mixed feelings about, just because it is a very, very bulky, cheap unit. At the same time, it does nearly no damage, kind of like Engineer. However, Engineer has more uses. Nightblade Sisters, Stench, Red Witch. Red Witch, I have a very interesting opinion about, because her attack speed is so freaking slow, just like Sniper. However, she is very capable of dealing a lot of surprise damage. So, and she's also one of the few low-cost units that are able to do AoE damage. Empire does not have a lot of that. And I don't believe Lancers count, because Lancers, their AoE range is very short, and they attack in a line. Sentinel, Abomination, I don't like that. Ballista, I like that. Summon, another summon that's great. Demolisher. Demolisher is, I believe, not enough people play this card. It's not as good as Rabbit, of course, but for what it's worth, you can call Demolisher, let the Guardian target it, and then you can use your own Marine Pod to then dish out more damage to the enemy Guardian, and then your opponent, and then because the Guardian's targeting the Demolisher, the Marine Corps are just free to attack the enemy Guardian. Medibot, Fugitive, Miracle, Storm Seller. Yes, I definitely need more Storm Sellers. and Prime Leecher. And so I don't necessarily believe that we are in necessarily a tank meta. However, I do believe it's more important to to level up your tanks rather than your damage dealers, just because although like you won't be attacking your opponent any quicker, tanks are important to keep around, especially cards like Prime Leecher that can nearly solo Jacob, just with the amount of regeneration that it gets and its tanky HP. Alright, same old Riphorn. Definitely Riphorn is a very, very good card. The only reason why I've been playing Riphorn too often is because I don't have him at a high enough level, but also I believe I don't really know how to play him exactly properly either, but Riphorn is very good. Bless, Storm Cellar, awesome. So Hellbringer, going back to that Empire deck that I was talking about, Hellbringer is the star of it. Hellbringer has the sense where he'll start dealing an AoE damage around him 3 times per second, and his AoE damage falls right below the amount that Nightblade Sisters and Nightblade Protectors can withstand with their passive. So you can use Hellbringer Sense with Nightblade Sisters and the Protectors, and they will take no damage because of his AoE damage. Alright, same old. Strafe, Arackling, Igloom, Hellbilly, Stealth Storm. Stealth Storm, I don't believe that you need to level him up considerably, just because he performs his main function with his first attack. Awesome Rocketeers. Prime Venomite, also a great card to just keep leveling up. It does so much clean and good damage that also its effect is slow is also just very good. Also, because it's one of those units that can stand right outside the Guardian attack range, the more damage the better. And Lancers, I don't play them in my current Empire deck, but I do know how good they are. Yeah, Lancers are definitely a card that you want to invest into. Landmine Miracle, another summon, that's actually great. And Xenoclaw, also another really good card in Alien. Xenoclaws pump out so much damage, and as a 4 cost, they're tanky and do so much damage that it's definitely worth investing into Xenoclaws. And Prime Abomination, like I said, I don't really like the idea of self-damaging units, especially with Republic existing. Grenadier, yeah, you definitely want Grenadier to be leveled up quite a lot, just because, you know, the more damage the better. However, I do think Grenadier already kind of serves his function just by knocking back units primarily and dealing with like small mobs. Alright, I hope I don't make this video too long. I am very tired right now. I've worked a 16-hour workday today. Alright, another one. Come on. Okay, no legendary again. Strafe. Always keep your Strafes leveled high. You definitely want to be able to take out your enemy's Rocketeers with it. Oh, another Riphorn. Nice. Terminite's also great. Okay, Missile Turret's the only rare that I kind of didn't want from these 5. Medibots again, Miracle, Surprise Cannon, Wheeze, as well as Vindicator. Vindicator is a card that I need to test out more with. I do believe it has so much potential to be like a very good surprise counterattack against the opponent. However, it's just the DPS isn't great, and it also kind of forces you to play with to condense your units into its circle, so which is easily abused by like cards like Tadakatsu and other AoE units. So I don't know how to feel about it just yet. Catapult, Riphorn, Spikebore. Spikebore is very good, especially against cards like Hotshot or anything that does way too much damage too quickly. I've been sleeping on the card, but especially if you have 2 attacking 1 unit, its attack speed is reduced, I think 60%, which is crazy. And Pulse Tank, yeah, I did want another Pulse Tank. Pulse Tank is a very neat card that I don't believe people understand the interactions that it can have. They just try to buff the Guardian and buff their units as a siege. However, Pulse Tank is very interesting in the sense that it's probably the only card that can semi-counter cards like Nuclear Strike. If you use it before your opponent calls their Nuclear Strike over your Guardian, and you're about 1000 HP. With the defense buff that it gives to the Guardian, your Guardian will survive. Also, it's just a straight up good unit, especially paired with cards like Riot Trooper too. Riot Trooper is also a card you definitely want to invest in. Stealth Blade too. Stealth Blade you do want to invest in. You want to be able to survive a couple Guardian techs. Yeah, the amount the amount of damage that it scales by per level is actually considerable, so definitely keep that in mind as well. Clone. Yeah, Clone is also a card that I haven't been able to mess around with just because mine is like level 4 at the moment, which is just not that great. But especially in Alien, calling 2 Burn Sisters is very powerful. Xenoclaw, awesome. Shotgunner Hellbilly, another Xenoclaw, awesome. Alright, Marine Corps, Nightblade Sisters, all good, really good staples. And Broodworm, a card that I don't play around with too often in Alien, but something to keep in mind. Broodworm spawns bombs faster than Empire Stormtellers, so you'll win the exchange when it comes to that. At the same time, this does cost 4 while the other one does cost 3, so keep that in mind as well. Alright, all good. Rabid, the best siege unit in the game. Definitely, it's honestly a game changer at times, especially when you do something like the enemy just guarded, they're approaching you, you have 10 elixir, you call Rabid, and then you summon twice, and you pretty much just kill the Guardian before they can get to you. Horn Chicken, also a really good card to counter anything like penguin mobs, terminites. The fact that they do AoE damage and also slow the target is just really, really cool too. And they also... I am so sorry about that. My phone hit max capacity, which is also because I have many videos and uncut footage that I need to get rid of. Alright, so going on. Grenadier again. And let's check these two. Stealth Blade and Dormorph. Alright, awesome. A lot of stuff I can level up. Alright, 2 more. Oh, another legendary. Okay. Miracle, Ballister, Stench, and Punch Tank. Punch Tank's a very good card. I just don't have mine at a very high level. Also, as good as it is, I do believe that it is counterable pretty easily. But for defense, it is really, really good. Rocketeer, Armor Pod, Nightblade Sisters, Brute Axe, awesome. Hellbilly, Igloo, Brute Axe. Let's see, check this one. Another Prime Leecher, that's nice. And Ida. Ida's a card that I kind of struggle to enjoy, just because she does do considerable damage, as well as her she's nearly the counterpart of Fury of the Republic, because she does impressive AoE damage. However, her range is shorter than Fury's, which means she'll still be attacked by Guardian. However, her her on hit, which reduces enemy HP, like I believe per second every time she attacks, and also every time she attacks, her passive restacks or resets. So, especially against cards like Prime Leecher, she will just melt targets like that. All right, and Minor Mech, awesome. Minor Mech is also a very good card for one of those against matchups where people just like to sit on their cards until like the 3-minute mark, which gets really annoying. And if you do that that way, you're kind of forcing your opponent to play something. And Spike Boar. All right. Leecher. Alright, can't complain. There's a Rocketeer. Imperial Guard, awesome, I need more of those. Another Greenwood Archer, awesome. And let's check this. Gemini Queen, and a Rapid. Alright. Terminate Queen, I don't think it's too important to level them up. To level her up too much. Rabbit, I do believe you should level up fairly quickly. Alright. Last one. Let's get another legendary. Nope, no legendary. But in all honesty, a lot of the legendaries you don't need to feel too forced to level them up quickly. Oh man, Doom Tower. Oh, another rabbit though. Another Demolisher. Mumford, awesome. Another Mumford, awesome. Yeah, this is actually pretty good. These are just all generic staples that you want a lot of. Prime Benmanite, Blood Bloom, unfortunate, and another Minor Mech. Faceless Altar. That's the first one that I pulled today. But everyone keep in mind, Faceless Altar is one of the most busted spawners. I mean, it is the most impactful spawner in the game, just because of the amount of damage that it can deal out. Plus, it calls out in pairs. Also, not only do the hands do a healthy amount of damage, they're so tanky that there have been times, if you're over leveled enough, they can just make it to the enemy guardian and your opponent really can't do anything about it. Another clone. Shield. Alright, not too great. Yeah, not too great. Stealth Breaker. Stealth Breaker, I need to play her a little bit more in order to understand her playstyle. However, I do believe that she needs a little bit more testing. Also, her passive stinks, which is if she takes any form of damage in the form of stench, a strafe, even like getting clipped by AoE damage, she will die immediately. So her passive is if she takes any kind of damage in stealth, she will die. Penetrate, Landmine, cool. Missile Turret, as well as Clone. Strafe, another Faceless Altar, awesome. And Stormcellar, that's also good. And Prime Abomination and Scorpioneer. Scorpioneer, definitely keep leveling up Scorpioneer. You want it to be as tanky and as annoying as it can when it attacks. I personally love to just always call it to the enemy guardian because it's just forcing your opponent to do something about it. However, it is also really good for crowd control and dealing against mobs. But otherwise, Scorpioneer is very good. Its Tail Swipe does the most damage. Otherwise, its normal auto attacks don't do that much. At level 10, that Scorpion Tail Swing, I believe, does nearly 600 damage. Alright guys, well, that was everything today, and although I didn't get exactly what I wanted, you know, I'm just glad that I'm able to level up my decks and factions, because although I've only been playing this game for 2 seasons, so I have been making some purchases just to get on a level playing field with my opponents. But otherwise, just to give you guys a quick update, I am getting pretty far with my progress. Probably next episode will either be Beast or Empire. I got some pretty cool builds that aren't mine, but that are working out. That I'd love to show you guys. Anyway, that will be everything. The video went a bit long, but yeah, thanks for tuning in as always, and keep commenting what you'd like to see. I did see a comment regarding someone talking about how to climb the ladder, and yeah, I definitely want to make a video about that. Although, you know, as much as I want to, I believe there is a lot to also just keep in mind about. I believe it, rather than climbing the ladder or like finding a busted deck to climb the ladder with, it's more about what fits your playstyle and, you know, what is what's working for you specifically. All right, but like always, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for everything. And also, thank you so much for all the views. I think I hit like 200 views total recently, and I really appreciate that. But now I'm going to go pass out. So thanks again, everybody, and yeah, have a great day, night, or whatever you guys have.